Right, you lot, it's that time again when I stop shouting at publishers for 5 minutes and start shouting at you. Welcome to another spicy round of Hey Scotty, on a Q&A show where answers hit harder than questions. And sarcasm is just part of f***ing service. We got questions about CryEngine, Extinction mode, overpriced games, and even Jack bloody Carver. So buckle up, because this one's going deep, weird, maybe even a little nostalgic. Let's get stuck in. We kick off with a triple headshot of questions from Ages 444. What makes CryEngine so good? CryEngine. Ferrari engine of game development. Looks stunning, roars like a beast, but if you don't know how to handle it, you'll wrap yourself around a f***ing dev tree by lunchtime. At its peak, CryEngine was gold standard for real-time rendering. Dense foliage, dynamic lighting, destructible environments. It could make your PC sweat like a priest in a brothel. It didn't just render graphics, it slapped you with them. But under hood, mate, it were a nightmare. Devs would rather staple their eyelids open than optimise for that. Modding were a headache, bugs were a feature, and performance on most rigs were like dragging your nuts through a swamp full of leeches. So yeah, CryEngine were a technical masterpiece, and a royal pain in ass. Like dating a supermodel with a chainsaw fetish. Gorgeous, terrifying, guaranteed to leave scars. Were Crysis 1 first, or were it Far Cry 1? Oh, Far Cry 1 came first. 2004, developed by Crytek back when they were mad scientists of graphical fidelity, before suits at Ubisoft decided to Frankenstein it into their own shiny, soulless sandbox factory. Crytek made Far Cry, and Ubisoft went, cheers for that, now f*** off, kept name and turned it into a formula. Meanwhile, Crytek said, fine, we'll melt GPUs for a living, and made Crysis in 2007. So what you've got is this beautiful tech split moment. Ubisoft ran off to make charismatic villain simulators with towers, outposts, and enough filler content to drown a yak. Crytek stayed pure and decided to punish your graphics card for even existing. Ubisoft made Far Cry safe and sellable. Crytek made Crysis a benchmark and bragging right. One went full Hollywood, other went full hardware sadist. What happened to Jack Carver, pro tag of Far Cry 1? He has a lot of spin-off games, but mainline series it was like he just vanished. You can decide what's canon if you want. It just sounds fun to speculate what happened. I think he could be Far Cry 2's antagonist. Now this is kind of tinfoil theory I can sink my teeth into. Jack Carver, mercenary, gunrunner, boat-owning brawler with a jawline made of disappointment and tequila. Survives a mutant outbreak in jungle, kills half a science lab, and then what? Vanished like a Ubisoft roadmap, full of promise, then radio silence. Spin-offs? Instinct? Evolution, Predator, all Xbox fever dreams with feral powers and budget Jason Bourne plots. Fun, but off main track. Then, Ubisoft hits reboot button and suddenly Jack's persona is tossed in fucking skip like a bugged questline. But here's spicy bit. Jack Carver is Jackal from Far Cry 2. Older, harder, hollowed out from years of merc work, trauma, probably goddamn a mega strain from Splinter Cell. His voice is different, his face is wrecked. With that bitterness, that I've seen too much to care anymore vibe, that's Jack, just burnt out and broken. 10 years of killing for cash will do that, especially in places world forgets, especially when people you kill start looking more like reflections than enemies. So yeah, canon or not, I'm planting that flag. Jack Carver didn't disappear, it devolved into Jackal. Far Cry 3 hit, and suddenly it were all about personality cults and psychedelic warlords. Jack, too real, too raw. Not quirky enough for TikTok edits and t-shirt slogans. They needed marketable madness, not PTSD-riddled veteran who probably smokes unfiltered cigarettes and can't sleep without a gun under his pillow. So what happened? They scrubbed him, rebooted franchise, injected it with neon paint, drug trips, and copy-paste formula design, and never looked back. And instead of evolving their original character, they left him in bargain bin or IP history. It's Ubisoft's track record. Create something unique, then bury it under seasonal content, marketplace fluff, and formula so rigid it could be printed on a cereal box. Jack didn't vanish, it were buried under weight of Ubisoft's creative bankruptcy. Cheers for those, mate. Bit of a throwback into rabbit holes here. Right, who's next? We got a question from our buddy Pyro Friendly Arsonist 9195. What's the deal with quality over quantity? Mate, that question it's like a power chord and a punk album. Short, loud, and ready to take roof off. Here's the deal. AAA publishers say they care about quality, but what they actually care about is quantity of engagement, of revenue streams, of time wasting in busy work sold as content. Look at State of it. We're drowning in live service slop that promises world and delivers a loot box full of chores, 10 game modes, 100 tier battle pass, and a roadmap they'll forget exists once pre-orders clear. More content, less soul. Quantity wins cause it retains users. Quality loses cause it's expensive and hard. But here's kicker. Indie devs are doing opposite. Single devs or tiny teams pushing out experiences so polished and passionate they make big dogs look like clowns in Armani suits. One handcrafted map can have more art than Ubisoft's last 4 franchises combined. So, quality over quantity? It's not dead, it's just hiding in smaller studios and getting drowned out by marketing NFT nonsense. Multiplayer filler that's designed to keep you grinding, not grinning. An industry loves pretending they're not to blame. Oh, players want more content. No, mate, players want better content. Stop feeding us slop and acting surprised when we throw bowl back. Cracking question, Pyro. Quality might be rare these days, but it's still worth shouting about. Cheers for sending it in. Next up, another triple headshot question from Top Lemonade. Are you interested in Splitgate 2? Great question, mate, but you'll have to wait and see what I say in tomorrow's video. No spoilers, no leaks, no early access, just raw truth coming straight at you like Portal yeeted across the sniper lane. What are your thoughts on finals if you've played it? I have. Yeah, it's alright. Visually slick, destructible environments and mad fun. Pacing's got that Battlefield on meth energy. But here's the thing, it just didn't have that wow factor for me. Like, technically, solid. Mechanically, snappy. But emotionally, about as exciting as watching a drone tournament in an IKEA showroom. I know some folks absolutely love it, and fair play. It's not a bad game. It's just not my game. Chaos feels a bit hollow. Vibe never really clicks. And after a few matches, I just find myself wanting something else. So yeah, good game, just not my poison. Sometimes it's less about what game does rate, and more about whether it sticks to your ribs after you've logged off. What were your first gaming console or game? Well, that depends how you define it. First I ever played, that'd be Star Wars on Atari, down at Youth Centre every week. Big clunky joystick, sounds like a dial-up modem having a seizure, and graphics so jagged you could shave with them. But I f***ing loved it. Every week blasting TIE fighters that looked like angry Lego bricks. Childhood magic, that. But first I owned, that were Alex Kidd in Miracle World on Sega Master System. Built into the bloody console, no cartridge needed. And you know what? I still love that game. I bought DX Remaster a few years back. Bit shinier, bit cleaner, but still plays like a charm. No microtransactions, no day one patch, just punch rocks, dodge frogs and play rock, paper, scissors with actual stakes. Simpler times, better vibes. Gaming didn't need 10 currencies and a cinematic trailer back then, just some pixelated courage and a soundtrack that slapped. Thanks for the nostalgia trip, matey. Next up, question from Connor Phelan 9825. Hey Scotty, what's your thought on Extinction mode from COD Ghosts? I really enjoyed it personally. Right, let's call it what it was. Extinction were Infinity Ward's "oh, we need zombies" mode panic button. Swap undead Nazi zords for aliens, chuck in some drills, wrap it in vague sci-fi lore, and pray to whatever god Activision worships that people buy. Now don't get me wrong, it wasn't awful. In fact, it was probably the best thing about Ghosts. And considering that campaign felt like licking gravel, that's not a high bar. It's a fucking pothole. Extinction had fun ideas. Class system was slick. Teamwork actually mattered. And aliens were a decent change of pace. But it lacked that X factor. Cultural punch zombies had. Chaos. Easter eggs. Memes. Instead of horror B-movie, felt like a sci-fi channel plot that never got renewed. Still, it was refreshing. Ambitious even. But Ghost itself just couldn't carry momentum. Game flopped harder than goldfish in a microwave, and Extinction got dragged down with it. So yeah, respect for enjoying it, mate. You're not alone, just don't expect a comeback. Extinction's buried deeper than Ghost sequel will never get. Thanks for the question, Connor. Solid pull from COD Vaults. And now here comes nuclear topic. This question comes from Xtram21. What do you think at game price increase? I do believe some games deserve price increase due to them being great, but I don't know who should be judged for it before a game is released, since reviewer and journalists cannot be trusted as they can be bought. I also believe game price should be standardised so that more people can try and play a game, but price increase just make it harder to try and play it. Right, let's light infuse on this one. Sure, games are expensive to make. No one's denying that. But price hikes? They're not about survival. They're about profit. Publishers sought whales dropping cash like strippers at a skin sale and said, yeah, we can add 10 more quid to that. And worst part? It's regular player that pays price. Kids saving birthday money. Single parent treating themselves to one game a quarter. While streamers get free codes and influencers get flown to preview events to smile and nod through every f***ing frame. You want honest reviews? Watch YouTubers who don't get invited to those events. Ones who bite game with their own coin and call it art when it stinks. So no, don't watch Ink Slasher, who praised Black Ops 6 like it were holy scripture, trashed X-Defiant as just the reskin of Black Ops 4, then magically joined COD 8 train like he wanted its cheerleader a few months ago. Don't listen to DK Dynamite, man who could do a TED talk on microtransactions and runs a COD blog that reads like a marketing brochure. And definitely don't trust big streamers or rage-bait YouTubers who slamp game by day and still grind camo challenges by night. They'll say they love game and that they're calling it art so devs can see what's wrong and fix it. Yeah, we love game too, but no's gonna change unless you stop playing. Because even if devs do care, Activision don't. All they care about is that you're playing and people are spending. But I digress. Standardising prices? Nah. That just gets suits a license to print cash without lifting a finger. We don't need standard prices. We need standards. Period. And reason we're here? We let it happen. Every overpriced bundle. Every Season 1 grind. Every excuse we made while they gutted our favourite games in broad daylight. If you want to stop rot, put controller down until the gear's somewhat worth playing. Oh, and no pre-orders. Ever. Don't care how shiny trailers are. Don't care how many dev diaries they shove down your throat. If you're buying a promise instead of a product, you're not a customer, you're a bloody investor in the pipe dream. And you'll get burned. Top shelf question there, Extram. Cheers, mate. Check description. I'll link 2 videos that go deeper into trencher monetization despair. And that's your lot, legends. We melted CryEngines, resurrected Jack Carver, slapped Ubisoft into next week, buried Extinction mode, and drop-kicked half at gaming industry off 70 quid ledge. If your question got featured, you're part of problem now. Welcome to Rebellion. Got a question for Nexton? Drop it in comments. Make it smart, make it weird, make it dangerous. I don't want save text, I want fire hazards in sentence form. Join Discord, follow our X, consider a channel membership. If you're into that sort of thing, smash like, hit subscribe, drop your comments or questions below. Might feature them in a future video, if they're not complete bollocks. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.